Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 News at 10 tonight. I'm Whitney Ward.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We want to bring you the very latest on breaking news at this hour as we continue to track three major wildfires burning across our region tonight. Those fires have so far claimed one life, burned several structures, and have forced thousands to evacuate.
We want to first turn to the Gray Fire, which is burning just southwest of Spokane. It has left at least one person dead, and right now, Medical Lake and the community of Four Lakes have both been evacuated completely. They remain under level 3 go now evacuations at this time.
So take a look at your screen right now. These are the current areas under those evacuations. And within the last hour, we have learned that Cheney remains at a level 1 evacuation order, meaning be ready to go.
We are now headed out live to KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk, who is still in Medical Lake tonight near the fire line, tracking the latest conditions for us.
And Kyle, what are you seeing there now as the sun set just a couple of hours ago?
Well, Mark and Whitney, it is completely dark out here. Most of the town is without power, but we're at the Conoco gas station. It is still standing, as are just basically all of the homes to the north of Medical Lake. But it's when you start heading south is when you start to see some of that destruction. And I want to show you this video. It is heartbreaking. It is hard to look at. But just in the last hour, we drove through the area of Stanley and Evergreen. We saw several homes there just smoldering. All that's really left of them, concrete driveways and their foundation, twisted metal. We saw bed frames, hot water tanks, chairs, just all smoldering. And we didn't stay too long because there were things exploding. I imagine some propane tanks left out on decks, that sort of thing. But it seems that everyone in that area that we were at evacuated. But again, it's hard to tell because the power is out. You can't tell if someone is home, has a porch light on, things like that. But we did see some people driving through, I imagine just to see if their homes were still there or to check on their neighbors' homes. And that is really the question that everyone is asking right now. And it's unfortunate because we may not have those answers until tomorrow. We may not fully understand this total destruction until tomorrow when the sun rises and things start to hopefully settle down here. But we know that this fire is at least 3,000 acres. That's what it's burned. And we did confirm with the sheriff's office, as you mentioned in the top of the show, around 8 o'clock, they did confirm that at least one person has been killed. They didn't say obviously exactly who. They're not identifying that person or saying where the body was found, but only that it was in this evacuation zone. Mark and Whitney.
Kyle, thank you very much. When the Gray Fire took off, officials quickly designated Cheney High School as an evacuation center. But as the flames continued to push toward town, they decided that high school was still too close for comfort.
Yeah, late this evening, they made the call to evacuate that evacuation center and move all of those people, this time to Spokane Falls Community College. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has more now on why they made that decision.
By late this afternoon, about 100 people checked in here at this evacuation center at Cheney High School. But as the evacuation levels increased here in the Cheney area, the American Red Cross decided to relocate everyone here and set up shop with a new evacuation center at the Spokane Falls Community College. In the shadow of the widespread smoke coming from Medical Lake, wildfire evacuees made their way to safety here at Cheney High School. A young man evacuated his grandmother from Medical Lake. They only had time to grab her medication, cat, and the clothes on her back. This Medical Lake family is taking their first deep breath here after narrowly escaping the wildfire that raced toward their home.
And you could hear things behind us just blowing up.
Sandy Hastings is also counting her blessings. She and her husband evacuated from their home, hoping they'd return to it soon. But when they arrived at Cheney High School, they got an alert from their security camera. The camera is mounted on the home of Sandy's father. That's their RV parked next door. Her heart sunk when she saw the flames inch closer and closer to her home.
I don't know where we are. You know, if it's burned down, if our RV is gone because of all the notices saying that everything's not working.
The flames come up and the video stops abruptly.
I think it burned up.
Just hours later, the Red Cross decided to relocate the center to get further from harm's way.
We don't want to open an evacuation center or a shelter in a location that would be at a level 2 evacuation.
Evacuees filled about a dozen buses and left for their next moment to take a deep breath. As this wildfire situation develops, the Red Cross told me that they are in close communication with Spokane County Emergency Management, and they are relaying any updates they can to the evacuees regularly. Reporting in Cheney, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Well, in times of crisis, the Red Cross responds. With the uncertainty of the fire pattern, again, the Red Cross moved the shelter from Cheney High School to Spokane Falls Community College. Spokane
Transit then quickly mobilized to help transport those evacuees, most of whom fled their homes with just a few of their most important belongings. Many of the evacuees have pets as well, so the nonprofits are also working to support those needs. The Red Cross is trained to respond, but watching people struggle has been emotional.
There's a lot of people in there that you can tell this wasn't what they were expecting to have happen today. They've got their pets with them. They're looking to make sure that they're safe, as well as not knowing what's going to happen to their houses, their homes.
The Red Cross says it will help shelter people while they're at their most vulnerable. Again, the shelter was originally at Cheney High School, but was forced to move when the fire became erratic.
Fire and law enforcement agencies from all across the county then poured into Medical Lake this evening.
The Spokane County Sheriff's Office helicopter Air 1 flew into action to help get people out of danger.
Those Air 1 crews were actually helping evacuate people who were trapped by the flames in Medical Lake just a few hours ago. They also shared some pretty remarkable images of the fire from above. And these fires are forcing major roads to close as well, and that includes I-90.
Yeah, right now it is closed in both directions at US 2 from 4 Lakes, which means you can't take the exit to the airport, and is closed all the way to Tyler. State Route 904 is also partially closed. So take a look at this map from WashDOT showing the closures. State Route 904 is closed from just outside of Cheney up to 4 Lakes. A detour is in place from State Route 904 onto Cheney Spokane Road and then to US 195.
And these conditions are quickly changing. There could be even more road closures tonight and tomorrow, so we'll make sure to bring you updates just as soon as we have them.
Well, fueling these fires today, wind gusts near 40 miles per hour. I want to check in now with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, how are conditions impacting the fire's spread?
Well, things have changed dramatically here in just the last few hours. As you can see, it looks pretty dramatic on radar, but what we're getting are a few things. Stick with me here so I can show you. Ready? First, this is our gust front out of the north. Did you see that line moving from the top of your screen to the bottom? That is our wind shifting from westerly to northerly. That shift coincided with a drop in the wind speed. As our wind speed dropped, we pulled in more wildfire smoke. That wildfire smoke is coming from fires burning up in Canada. But look at the smoke from the Medical Lake fire, the gray fire burning in Medical Lake. You can see it turn and now blow directly to the south. It's a similar story up near Elk, where we have the Oregon fire burning. That fire is also starting to see some calmer winds, light and variable up there. That's kind of how they stay through the rest of the night. Negligible in terms of wind gusts, so basically down at 5 or below miles per hour overnight. Things are going to remain relatively calm. But overall, our weather pattern favors a northerly wind. What that's doing is blowing all the smoke from our north into Spokane and much of the inland northwest. That's your line from, say, 3 this afternoon. There's the gray fire in Medical Lake, and then there's the smoke creeping in. That smoke has taken over, and it's dropping our air quality. Air quality currently sits at unhealthy or a 162. Tomorrow, it likely gets worse. We're pulling in more of that smoke from our neighbors off to the north. It does look like tomorrow afternoon will be a little bit cleaner than today, and it does look like eventually we get rain returning to the forecast. That doesn't look to happen until Monday. It is going to be hazy, but much calmer over the weekend.
All right, Jeremy, thank you very much. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. The Oregon fire near Mount Spokane continues to grow. It has so far burned more than 2,500 acres and is still spreading out of control.
Yeah, at this hour, we have just learned that state mobilization was authorized for that fire today, which means additional resources are now on the way. We're told at least 30 homes are currently threatened, as well as timber, power, infrastructure, and crops. There are several level 3 go now evacuations in place from the Spokane County line, at least to Blanchard Road. We have also just learned that all of the areas that were at a level 2 have now been upgraded to level 3. Again, that means go right now. And Riverside High School is the evacuation site for people who are needing a place to go. That's located at 4120 East Deer Park Milan Road.
Residents with large animals can be taken to the Newport Rodeo grounds if needed. According to the Pend Oreille County Sheriff's Office, Spokane Fire District 4 is currently responding and urges residents to monitor their phones tonight.
And the third fire we are tracking tonight, residents of Winona in Whitman County, they will not be able to go home tonight. Evacuation orders will stay in place there overnight after a wildfire came through town.
The fire is not contained and has so far burned 3,000 acres. Fire crews tell us while it came dangerously close, no occupied homes in town burned. Many outbuildings and unoccupied houses were lost.
The fire is now laying down for the night, they said. Whitman County emergency managers say that crews will be continuing to stay on it overnight. The winds and rugged terrain made it very difficult, though, to fight.
It was incredibly fast moving, with the wind, and it was so erratic. It'd blow in one direction and it'd turn around and just blow right back at you. So, yeah, the wind wasn't our friend today.
State mobilization crews are due in to help in the morning. The cause of that fire is also under investigation.